Welcome everybody to Tired, I mean, interesting as fuck. And if you've so tired, if you were following along with us, we walked the Brooklyn half marathon last weekend. We finished, yay us, under 4 hour, we did it in 3 hours and 47 minutes, something like
Yeah.
that, which
Yeah.
amazing. We flew through that just like Captain Holtz would have liked us too. Um, so by consequent, this week we are extremely tired and sore, and just trying to get our bearings. But we have, of course, Elaine found us a beautiful documentary to watch this time. As always, really, it's always very surprising. I don't know why, but like now I'm like, oh yeah, she's not going to do it. She does it again every single time. Like when is there going to be a dud? I'm like, nope, there's never going to be a dud. There's just never
I
going to
hope
be.
not.
But I can't wait for that episode. Well, Elaine, you really fucked this up this time. Anyway, we watched Will and Harper, which is on Netflix, about almost 2 hours, I think, clocking in at like an hour and 54 minutes, worth every single minute. Even the credits, because there's a little special thing at the end, the credits. And yeah, it's about, Elaine, let us, and also like it would be great to know how you found this documentary and kind of, what you kind of were the intent of it, I guess, not
Yeah.
intent, but
So, Will and Harper is about a cross-country road trip between two very dear friends, one of whom most, if not all of you, will recognize. The Will of Will and Harper is Will Ferrell of SNL, Talladega Nights, Ron Burgundy, like insert all the things here, fame. Everybody's favorite funny man. Um, and his very dear friend, Harper Steele, who well into her 50s transitioned from Andrew Steele. And I will use her dead name just a couple times in terms of context and historical information. Um, but we will be referring to her as her female pronouns and Harper, which is her name. But Andrew Steele and Will Ferrell started at SNL the same week. Andrew was a writer and was the head writer from 2004 to 2008. And they became fast friends. They became very close friends. And I think it was in 2022, Andrew sent out an email to close friends and family to say, I'm transitioning. And after going through that process and fully becoming Harper, Will Ferrell suggests, why don't we do a cross country road trip? Because Andrew loved to do cross country road trips. And like one of the funniest things about it is like, I think there's a dinner of former SNL cast and writers that like, goddamn, I would give any amount of money to be invited to that dinner.
so much
Before,
money.
like, before they head on this road trip. And Seth Meyers says to Harper, no one ever asked you for recommendations when they were traveling because she liked to go on these solo, deep in the middle of America, like just like random truck stop type, like just bring a camping chair and sit out in a fucking Walmart parking lot road trips cross country. And so because that's something that she loves to do, they decided to do, excuse me, a cross country road trip with the intention of doing this for the first time as Harper, but also I think one of like such a poignant statement that she makes is, I love myself, learning to love my new self even more, but I don't know if my country loves me at this moment. And so taking these like cross country road trips that she loves, I think with a very dear friend, um, what was the intention? Like they're gonna do this cross country road trip, they're gonna reconnect. And I think what's so incredible about this? There's so many things, but um just hearing how she's now rethinking, like, am I safe making this trip that I never even thought twice about? And it's one thing that Linda and I know as women who travel. It's one thing to travel as a woman solo. It's another thing these days, especially, to travel through certain areas of the country as a trans woman. And so I think bringing a friend, bringing a male friend is helpful. I think what was interesting is along the way, like the fame of said friend had its pros and cons
Yep.
that we learn. I think Will Ferrell was humbled a couple times through this experience.
I also like how he appreciated being humbled.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like like, and I think that's what struck me about the beauty of this documentary. It's they both came at it with such an openness and such a
Yes.
curiosity from each side. It wasn't like Harper was like, I know everything about myself right now, and I know how to move through the world, and I know how to do this.
Yeah.
She was like, I am still figuring out what this means, and I am still trying to understand what it means in relation to a friend like Will.
Right.
Um, and that's I liked how no question was like off limits.
It's
And
one of
Harper
my
says that.
favorite things about this. It's one of my absolute favorite things about this. It's one of the reasons, it is probably the number one reason I think everyone on the goddamn planet should watch this. If for no
Mhm.
other reason, it shows you how to appropriately, sensitively, curiosity ask the questions that you might be afraid to ask. Like, it's okay to not necessarily know how one to react at first when someone comes out anyway, or comes to you with it's not just coming out, but like with news that you weren't expecting, right? Like just in
Mhm.
general. But it also shows like it's okay to be curious and it's okay to ask questions. It's also okay to still keep the same type of relationship. Like there were like one of the moments that makes me laugh every time I watch this is like when they open up with all these questions and he's like, does she still like shitty beer? Like throw like this doesn't change your relationship. I understand if at first it's a bit of a shock and you think it might, but like ask the questions. And I think that this shows how to appropriately ask the questions, shows you that it's okay to ask the questions, that oftentimes the person that came to you with this news might want you to ask questions because there may be answers that they haven't even thought of because they haven't been asked that question yet. And it's
Mhm.
okay to ask questions, especially of a close friend or family member. And it's
Exactly. And
supportive. That's like a supportive thing as opposed to you just like shutting down. You showing curiosity and asking these questions is helpful.
honestly, I think it works for everything that happens in your life.
Yeah.
Grief, a good thing, a bad thing, like you should be asking that question. Like one of the things that this is a tangent, but like for grief, for example, when somebody passes away, I keep asking about that person. I'm like, what did you love most about them? What do you miss most about them? Like it's not a bad thing to have people remember. Obviously, like there's going to be moments where they're going to cry, but they're probably going to like the fact that they're connecting somehow, right? And I think that's the point of this. Like they connected. And Harper says that at some point. She goes, it was about the intent. I know your intent is curiosity. You're not here to hurt me. You're not here to, you know, I don't know, whatever, but like it's just done in such a great way. And honestly, and this is my fault. Will Ferrell seems like a bumbling buffoon, and I like saw him completely different here. He
It's
seemed like
it's
it's
amazing.
like it's so amazing, and you're like, and I've seen him in dramatic roles, so I know he can do it. What
Stranger
the
Than
one where
Fiction is one of my favorite
Stranger
movies, like,
Stranger Than Fiction is
beautiful,
so good.
amazing movie. I feel like
He's
we
such
see that side of Will Ferrell in this, right? Like,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
like, no ill will intent. Yeah, it's beautiful, and I think the other reason that everyone should watch it kind of leads into the conversation we're gonna have next week, which is this is real masculinity. This is what it means to be a man, the way that Will handles this relationship. There's showing of emotion, there's curiosity, there's not shutting down because you're suddenly uncomfortable. Imagine how Harper felt. Like, do you really think anyone just takes this decision lightly? I mean, for real. Like, who there's a lot that goes into this, and it's we I think we see some of this through the journals. That house that she bought in California destroys me, because it was a place that she found in the middle of nowhere where she could go hide and wear dresses and walk around in high heels and be who she really is. You
Yeah.
really think someone wants to live like that?
You know, it's the thing that I like grappled with the most with like the time where I guess it was in Texas because Texas obviously when they're in Texas, the other places are a lot less. They misgender her, which is not like I don't want to. I don't know how I felt about that, and that was she's like I don't like it, but like it's also like to a certain degree, I'm like how educated are those people about a bunch of things, right? Like are they doing it for like because it's sorry, it's all about intent, right? Are they doing
Of
it
course.
because they literally are like, "Wait, I'm being confronted with something I don't know how to handle and I'm just going to revert back to like what I think I should do?" Or there are obviously some people that have like negative intent, like it's totally clear. But there are like some people that like are trying but like fumble somehow because they're like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
But like the Texas like steak thing, which I think again is one of the cons of
Yes.
Will's fame, where people are just like horrible. I'm like what like this has always been the thing. Like it doesn't cost anything to be kind, but
Nope.
it costs you a bat. It's like something in your soul that you become less human when you hate on people that have done nothing to you.
It literally takes time off your life. Like
Yeah.
it does have a cost. To be
Yeah.
mean and to be angry and all of that, to hold a lot of rage, which I do a lot of this these days. Like it literally
I feel like,
that's not
we
unwarranted
have
rage. It's not unwarranted rage.
62 62 million
2,000,000 fucking
views.
fuck off, all of you.
Is that still on? Anyway, back to
Ooh.
the topic at hand. But like like the rage is not we're raging at injustice. I think there's a difference between raging at injustice and raging at people who just want to be themselves, who are not hurting. Sorry, again, see?
See? So lit yeah.
She's just drinking shitty beer at a bar in the middle
Which
of
she likes
wherever.
to do. That's where it's not like she's putting herself there to create a situation. Like, that is the type of place that she likes to go. She has every right to fucking be there. The same
Yep.
way she has every right to sit front row courtside at a Indiana Pacers game, which there wasn't an incident there, but I think that was a great teaching moment when, like, the governor of Indiana comes up and Will Ferrell later is like, "I'm so sorry, like, I didn't know we were gonna see him. I should have asked. I should have used that as a moment to
So
be like,
I have a question. Like, is there like, and this is maybe I don't know how to maybe properly phrase this sentence, but like going in front of these kind of politicians that have these like very ridiculous, obviously politicking stances, and
mhm,
like I think it's better for you know, Harper to have been seen with the man because
yeah,
then he has to be like, "Oh, it's not that big of." Do you know what I mean? Like I actually saw it the opposite way. I didn't see it as Will or Harper doing anything wrong because of this man's stupid asinine political
yeah. They
views.
also didn't know it was gonna happen. Someone just like walked him
They
up to them.
exactly. And I think it's actually more of the opposite where he's gonna have to explain to people why he was just cordially like, there was nothing wrong with this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, from his perspective, he just was like Will was like, "Here's my friend, she transitioned." And he seemed perfectly, like, polite and, like, I guess maybe they didn't I didn't think he did anything, but, like, I think it's more of the onus on him where people are gonna be like, "But wait, I thought you were, like, so gun ho." You know what I mean? Like, I saw it
It comes
differently.
from both sides, I think.
Yeah.
It comes from both sides. Like, it would come from each of their communities to be like, "Why are you in this picture with this person?" You know? I'm not
Fair.
necessarily saying it would, but sometimes it like, just because one side is hearing it doesn't mean they're not hearing it from the other side, I think. Um,
Yeah.
but
That's true, fair.
what I would have loved is, like, if they had been aware, if not even the question of, like, what is your stance on trans
Yeah.
people and trans care, but have you ever met a trans person before? Like, that would
Ex
have been the question. Because if the answer is obviously no. Like,
ex
this answer is probably no.
And that's what I mean, like, I think a lot of these people that, like, misgender her or do things probably have not met a trans person
Right.
before.
Well, and that's like, in the diner, when the server misgenders her, I think that is a learning moment for everyone.
Yes.
It's a learning moment for, um, the server who misgendered her, but Harper right after always says, like, "Obviously, I don't like being misgendered, but, like, sometimes what can you do?" But it also teaches her, like, if someone calls you the wrong name, you either let them continue to call you the wrong name or you correct them, and sometimes it's really like, we all know this, we all hate correcting people, right? But, like, also, don't then let someone call you by the wrong name. So I think it's like a learning and for Will Ferrell too, like, do I interject if Harper isn't gonna like, it's and they all just responded, like, right off the cuff, which is probably which means that's probably the right way to do it, and nobody
Yeah.
was mean, nobody and the woman apologized immediately, like, so to me, I completely agree with you. There was no malicious ill intent. That is probably the first trans person that woman has ever met or seen, and I think everyone's response was correct. Harper didn't react negatively in terms of like, "How dare you?" or like, "What the fuck is wrong?" Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that is probably a moment that happens a lot to her and to
Mhm.
trans people in general.
Right.
And like you're saying, every time it happens, there's not ill intent. And I think that's good for people to see too. Like, we don't have to jump to this conclusion that like someone did that intentionally.
Yeah.
I hate that it happens. I don't
Yep.
like that it happens. We don't like that it happens, but it does happen. It
Mhm.
happens when our children are babies because babies look the same in terms of like we let our son's hair grow out until he was past 1. He has like the most insane eyelashes and these beautiful
He
big blue eyes.
Yeah, he
People called
does.
him a little girl, like, or "You're my daughter," or whatever a couple times. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's a boy.
it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like, what
And and I think it's one of those things where for me the biggest thing about this documentary, again, and I said that earlier, is how okay both of them were with being put in situations that were not necessarily the most comfortable, the most safe. I mean, can Will Ferrell throw down? I don't know. Like, is that like that a thing I need? Like, can he like, help Harper? Like, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. He
um,
made that joke that he was taking jujitsu twice a week and
yeah,
that
yeah,
with her kids, which I thought was, like, it's just so funny. But I
so
thought about
funny.
that too, where I'm like, his celebrity status and a lot of the staring that they got was more because everybody knows who Will
Knows
Ferrell
Will Ferrell
is,
is. Yep.
right? Um, and so some of it was like his celebrity probably also helped in terms of protection, like the celebrity piece, not that just he's a bigger guy,
Yeah.
but and Harper's now not traveling solo, um, but his celebrity probably and then obviously there were people who don't give a shit because they're just hateful, terrible people. But like, I bet some people even hesitated to be like, well, I don't want to look like a dick in front of Will Ferrell, which
Mhm.
how about just don't be a dick? But
Yeah.
like,
Number
right?
1.
But if that's something that also added a layer of protection, fucking good, right? Because it's unfortunate that Harper needs protecting. But I think they both knew that going into this trip, especially based on kind of where they travel to. Um,
Um,
yeah.
and I just was I cried so many times during
Oh,
this document, like, so many times. Um, I just again, like, it wasn't that it was, like, a trans person and her friend or anything, it was just 2 friends figuring out life and this new version of each other, right? Even Will is forever changed. I bet I don't think Will mentions it, but has he ever been friends with a trans person? Like, I don't remember him saying
at all.
anything about that, right? And also, like, how close. I also wonder, like, if they are very close because of what they went through on SNL. I think a lot of people
Totally.
keep talking about how stressful and intense
Yeah,
SNL was, and, like, you just are bound to those people in a way that's just way different than, like, a lot of people realize, and I think that's why you kind of see them all the time, and I think to a certain degree also all of them being on the documentary is, like, also a nod to their support for their friend, right? I think
absolutely.
there's 2 things, right? Yeah, it's a document, but it's also not it's not a silent way, but it is a very overt way to say, "We support this community. We want,
Absolutely.
want them to be okay, being okay with themselves, being safe, being stuff." And also, I like margaritas like Tina Fey.
Yes.
Random.
Yes. I love Paula Pell just like spilling half her martini into her margarita at one point. No, but I also think this analogy just popped into my head because I think, another reason they connected so well on SNL was I would imagine sometimes writers and the comedians, it almost becomes like pet ownership, like how sometimes like when you get a pet, sometimes like our dog, everybody says it, but like when we had our dog picked us. Like we actually
Mm,
went to look at another dog. We were looking at adopting Chief's sibling, and Chief picked us
mhm.
because there was just this like weird unspoken all of a sudden bond. And I feel like sometimes that can happen between a writer and comedians. Think
Yep.
of John Mulaney and Bill Hader with Stefan. And so
Yeah.
it seems like, because just based on their histories, that Andrew, now Harper Steele, wrote a lot of sketches for Will. And then they both went on to Funny or Die. Like, Funny or Die is where Pearl, one of the funniest videos of all time, is Pearl the landlord with the tiny little Adam McKay's daughter, little like 3-year-old Pearl, being like, "You pay now." Like that is one of my favorite sketches of all time, and that sketch is probably 20 years old at this point, which is very upsetting to me. But it is one of the funniest goddamn things. So
No,
they
it's
both
not 20
went
years old. That was like 3 years ago.
right. They both went to Funny or Die. And so they kind of like went through comedic things together. And so it seems, and to go back to a point, kind of navigating this new part of their relationship. Even if Harper hadn't transitioned, you reconnect with people and your relationship is going to be different because you're different people, even a year down the road. So, like, I just, there were so many like beautiful things about this documentary that it's just like for it to be what started as a male relationship too. Men just don't explore these types of emotional feelings and all that stuff as well as women tend to do. So to watch this relationship, I hope teaches, like, guys, tell your guy friends you love them. Ask them how they're feeling. Like, ask the tough questions. It's so fucking important to do that.
and I also think, like, so I just watch them and I go, "What's so hard about this?" Like, it's not that it's not
Right.
hard, right? Like, it's not that it's not hard, but
They
what's
made it
so hard t
effortless.
yeah, and, like, it's they are talking about very difficult things, like,
Very.
I love the part where it's like, "So, you have boobs now." Like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
So, I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's not they're not talking about, like, easy shit, right? Yeah,
Mm.
of course, do you like Pringles? I don't like whatever. But I just what like, I guess for me, like, male and then this is, like, now a male-female friendship, so it's a little different, right? But they were always friends at the
Oh,
beginning,
yeah.
like, right? Like, my guess is they had heart-to-hearts like this, before she transitioned. So, like, I always wonder, like, what is it about masculinity or, like, toxic masculinity that makes it so shitty to be like, "I have emotions," and that's like, when did emotion like, it's I'd love to
Masculinity is a construct. It's a construct.
much like time.
Construct.
But like, the idea is, like, what at what point constructed the concept and I'm wondering if it's, like, war parts where we're like, they went to war and we're not gonna talk about shit. I'm wondering if it's that. I'm wondering if it's when men, like, went like, World War One, World War Two, where it's, like, the silent generation and
Yeah.
stoicness of, like, the boomer, the silent generation. Literally, they were called the silent generation. Like, that just didn't talk. And I'm just wondering if that's where kind of that concept of we don't talk about our feelings or we don't talk about shit that's happened started to be much more like ingrained in the male psyche.
Maybe.
And that's why, everybody shits on gentle parenting, but gentle parenting is all about talking about your emotions. I feel
And
sad. I feel happy. I feel and that we are raising a generation that now can name their feelings
yes,
to
so much
in a
earlier.
way so much earlier and so much going like, "Oh, I am tired and therefore I am cranky. I am gonna go and take a breath." Right? Like, I think there's so many things about that I think are going to heal a lot of the things that are happening, like, within the toxic mess. Even though there's, like, the red pill content and all the shit, it's still a problem that we need to, like, work on and things like that, but I think that's kind of one of the things, and that's for me, like, it didn't seem hard for them to talk about their emotions, it didn't seem, like, difficult, even though it was a difficult thing. They were both you feel Will kind of a little bit awkward about it, like, he doesn't like, at the beginning, you're like, he I know he like, I sense the hesitation of him, like, not wanting to say the wrong thing, like, you
Or
kinda
to make a
sense
joke
that,
out of everything,
or
right?
to
Like, I'm
make
sure his first inclination is to joke a lot, which he does, right? Because you still wanna you're still Will and she's Harper. Like, it's
yeah,
still the same person. She may look different, and at least
yeah,
here's the thing, you made a point earlier about, like, being the same person, except imagine having to or having, like, deep, hard conversations, like, the whole time they've known each other, except then imagine, like, from, again, pre-Harper, Andrew's side, having to hide this
yeah,
such a huge part of yourself because
yeah,
we don't live in a world where it's necessarily safe or to just really know the people to talk to. Like, I can't imagine how hard it is to be like, I don't know one person that I feel safe about this talking to. And then going to a therapist where you think you're in a safe space and then having your therapist tell you, no, that's not right. What
and
the fuck?
and then at the therapist at the end, which I thought
Grand
was
Canyon?
such a good choice. Like, it was such a choice because it doesn't, like, excuse the first therapist, obviously, but it not I hate saying that. It doesn't explain it, but it says, like, maybe this is where they were coming from, and, we'd hope, I guess, like, the documentary kind of, like, implies it, that we hope that that's what happening to the original therapist, that they're
Yeah,
now
Right.
rethinking, hoping that they, that that person found peace or things like that. And it's, and it really got me thinking about how much the brain is wired to want to be happy, right? Like, there's a lot of people that have like that don't make it through the transition for a lot of reasons. But the people that do are just like, this sucks. My life is way harder, way tougher, whatever. But they're so much happier. And it's amazing how much the brain and the person like just wants to be at peace. And I don't get why it's so hard to just accept that.
To just let them be at fucking peace. Just
And
let
I'm
them be
just
where they
like,
wanna be.
yeah, so that for me, like that's what I never understand. Like I never understand. It's funny because people are like, "Oh, I don't understand trans." I'm like, I don't understand how
Nobody's
you
first
can
of all, no one
just.
said you have to, just fucking leave them alone.
But second of all, the thing that I really understand that you should probably be thinking about is why people are so mean and cruel to people just because they are who they are. Like
Yes.
that's what we
Yes.
should be trying to understand.
That's what you
Not
should try to
whether not if somebody is like wants to be a man or a woman and that's not how they what the I don't care.
yeah.
Like be who you are. What I don't like is when people are just cruel to be cruel. And like I'm like, maybe that's the thing that I
You identify as being an asshole. No one's trying to shut down your lifestyle.
yeah. No,
Like, Jesus
I like
Christ.
I am. I am. Like
Not
if I
you.
see it. I try to shut down an asshole. Oh,
Oh, listen, I try to shut down an asshole, but I'm not telling them which bathroom they could use or not
fair.
use,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
or calling them a pervert or calling them
A
horrible names.
pedophile. Like, I mean,
Right.
really, really Catholic
Right.
Church. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. God. I'm looking at
Jesus.
others as well.
Yeah, yeah. Me anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I really feel one day.
Right. We hide it so well. We hide it so well.
Well, I mean, really. I mean,
But
it's
I think, like, everyone should watch this documentary
mhm.
for so many reasons, for just healthy relationships, for learning how to be curious, but also protective and sensitive around, you know, some of the harder to talk about issues, especially if you know someone who's going through some of them. Um, and just like a healthy relationship. Like this is just to me, this is just such a healthy, beautiful relationship.
Yeah. And they again, it's just so honest. And it's like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
ask about your boobs,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna ask about the time you were Bette Midler's manager. And it's like, you know what? He just took it one step too far. When they're in Vegas, he tries to like be like,
Vegas was a
you know,
little
I was like, you went just a little
yeah.
the
Like now you're
mustache.
drawing too much attention and it's the type of
Yes.
attention we do not want here. Like this was
No.
supposed to be like a, she got all dressed up, she looked beautiful. Like
Yes, she did.
and,
I was
like
like,
and
she
then
looked
he
so
turned it in
gorgeous.
and I think that was one of, like, the very humbling moments where he was like, "I'm really sorry, I kind of ended up making this about myself and took it a little too far." So to see him to this is another piece of, like, the masculinity piece, like, to see him be humbled, to recognize it, and to apologize for it, more of
And
that,
and to see him cry, like,
more of that. Oh,
after the
yeah,
Texas
cry.
steak
It feels so
cry, it's
fucking good. Jesus
so
Christ.
good.
We
So
all
good.
freak out,
I'm
we're like, we're so emotional. It's because we get it out and then we move on while you all stuff it down and it boils up later.
so much later.
I wish I
So
could see
like
Linda's face right now.
I no, because I'm thinking of something and I'm not gonna say out loud. And then I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we stop recording. Um like I'm listening to like I'm obsessed right now with Ray's new album. Like all of it is like amazing and you should listen to it. And also if you listen to it at the first time, listen to it in sequence, do not jump around. Then when you listen to it, again. but there's a story there. And there's the song, like the one big single that is out now is called Clack Symphony. And every time at the end, there's like a moment at the end, she says something and it makes me cry every single time. And my son is like, well, you're crying about it. I'm like, yeah, because it makes me feel something. It makes me feel in a way, and it's okay to cry. It's not like like my kids see me cry all the time. And telling them it's okay to cry, I think it's one of those things where that's how you teach the new generation to be like, it's okay to cry. And seeing Will Ferrell, the big funny man, cry about him making a mistake because he might have put Harper in danger
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes.
Is
That's a man.
amazing.
That's a
That's a
man.
man. You know what? That's a human. That's
That's
a
a human.
person.
Damn
That's a
right.
person that's just worried about their friend and
Yep.
went, fuck, I fucked this up and I'm going to apologize and we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Thank God nothing happened, but we're going to move on.
And we're gonna move on because we talked about it. We're not gonna move on
Yep.
and act like nothing happened, which is very different. That's not moving on. That's just
No,
moving
staying
forward or
there.
whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But I think
Or
it's also
stagnating if you don't,
it's
stagnating in a way.
yes, it's good to see your kids have your kids see you cry, but also to tell them why. Like, if I'm crying, my son will ask me why, and I'll tell him because it's happy tears or it's sad tears. Like, great example was, um, when Bob Weir died from the Grateful Dead. We were watching the memorial service. Oof, I'm gonna cry now. And they get on stage and everyone's singing
It's okay
Ripple,
to cry.
right? Everybody's singing Ripple. And I was just sitting at the top of the stairs, like crying.
Yeah.
And my son was like, "Why, mommy, why are you crying?" I said, "Because I'm sad." So, like, I'm also identifying the emotions in myself. And he
Hmm.
said, "But why are you sad?" And I had to sit and think for a second, like, well, we didn't know this man, but he felt like family. And there's this 10-year period where we traveled all over the world to be a part of this community that he led. And so it felt like a chapter was closing. Obviously, still very upset about it. And so, like, I
It's
had to
okay.
explain that to him, which helps me identify my emotions and show him that it's okay. And literally, like a month or two, this was like a month or two ago when this happened. We're watching Kung Fu Panda, which is one of his, like, all four movies. We've been on a Kung Fu Panda kick.
Classic.
And I think in maybe the third one, whenever it's the first one, when Uguay becomes like kind of passes on, he turns to me and he has tears in his eyes and he's going, "This part makes me sad." He's like, "I don't want Uguay to go away." And he started crying, and then I started crying because he was just so sweet. And, like, and it also felt like a little bit of a parenting victory too, like we're talking about, like, and I kept saying, "It's okay to cry, buddy. It's a really sad, like, we don't, we love Uguay. It's really sad that he's not here anymore." And so, like, that felt like a parenting victory. So, not just like it's okay to cry, but like let's identify because you can cry if you're happy too, which I do
Yep.
often as well.
All the
Like
time. Yeah, I cried when I finished my first half marathon. Like
as
those
you
are
should
happy
have.
tears. Yeah. So yeah, I again, like, being a human and being kind to each other, and that we only have one life. We're on this blue marble that's hurtling in the universe towards what we don't know.
Yeah.
Be kind. This is how, by the way, little thing. So every time I drop off my kids, I tell them, be kind and make good choices. Every time. And now they're my daughter's preschool teacher is like, now every time I think of myself, I'm like, when I get a little frustrated, I go, be kind and make good choices. And I'm like, yes, I'm teaching the preschool teacher something. So I'm like, because I think they made fun of me at the beginning of it, but I kept like going. And now they're like, I hear that now, and it helps. It really does. I was like, I know. It's I don't do shit for, fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? And I think that's that what you know what? Maybe this uh, and Will and Harper, I feel like, is a documentary that is an ode to kindness.
Yes.
Because they're kind to each other, and I think that's what, the friendship was based on anyway. And then they find pockets of kindness. Yes, they find stupidity and all that stuff, but they do find pockets of kindness all throughout. Like the woman who helps Harper in Vegas with the dress, where she goes, "Oh, this
Yes.
is pretty." And she goes, "Yes, it's pretty." And it's like small interactions, like the server that says, "I'm sorry," and "ma'am." You know what I mean? Like there's pockets of like things that go, you know what? Maybe it is going to be okay. And it's going to be hard, but the best things are hard. It's not, life isn't easy. Friction, everybody. You can't live a frictionless life.
Nope.
Everything's
Nope.
messy, everything is hard, and you just find people that walk the hard parts with you. And I think this is just
Yeah.
the epitome of that. The
And
epitome
just
of
those little things that make a hard world for someone who's living a harder life that much easier. Just apologizing when you misgender somebody or properly gendering somebody. Don't dead name them. Like, just to go out of your way. Like, I with the whole pronouns thing, like, I don't it's not something I start every conversation with, but if someone makes it known or if they're wearing a pin that says "Ask me my pronouns," you're goddamn right I'm asking their because what fucking harm did it do me? Jesus fucking Christ.
I again don't understand that. Don't understand why people want to go out of their fucking way to
Like,
offend
just
somebody on
yeah,
purpose. Like,
yeah. Like,
why?
just be nice.
Why?
Costs nothing. Makes you feel
Nothing.
good.
Yeah. You were kind to a human, to a fellow human that is just wanting to be accepted and is having a hard time wanting to be loved for themselves and who they are. And like,
Yeah, just
like aren't we all trying to do that? Like, aren't we all just trying to be loved for ourselves and who we
yes.
are and like want to be respected in this world? So why fuck is it so hard? Anyway, that's what we don't, and that's what we, as a society, we need to change. That's what we should be
That's what we
really
need.
examining.
Yeah.
Not the law, like, not those laws about whatever. Laws about people being kind to each other. How about that? That's a little too
Yeah.
much, but still, like,
Laws of nature.
laws of nature. Again, this documentary was just so beautiful. Like hauntingly beautiful, sadly
Yeah.
beautiful, 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 just beautiful is the best term. And Kristen Wiig did kind of knock it out of the park with that song. But I
I
think
mean,
a friend is
ridiculous.
a friend is a friend is a friend, which I was like, nice ode to love is love. I was like,
Yep.
ah.
Yep.
Um and yeah, so I think what, as we were watching this, we were thinking about, and I think we've obviously touched upon it, but like the male loneliness epidemic. I think a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are like, what's happening with men today? What are we doing? How are we, how are they kind of seeing this red pill content? So that's what we'll talk about next week, and how important and how maybe they should learn something from female friendships,
Yep.
um, and how they should probably take that on a little bit more, and maybe they'll be less lonely, maybe?
Just a thought.
Just a thought. So, that's what we will be talking about next week. As always,
We need a
our email.
rating, Linda.
Yeah, oh, okay, so my what the fuck was when Harper said DC is boring. I was like, "Don't come at me in my nearby city and say DC is boring." My what the fuck was 8. Thanks, Harper, for saying that DC was boring. Because yeah, it's a
Love it.
lot of things, but not boring.
Definitely not boring.
It's definitely not boring. So that was my what the fuck moment, was Harper saying DC was boring.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah, so watch this documentary. You will be changed a little bit, maybe a lot, maybe a little bit, but just, watch it, even if it makes you
Just
uncomfortable.
feels good. I know, but it feels good.
you just walk out of there a better person, 100%. So yeah, so next time male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Our emails, chats, DMs are open. And yeah, Elaine, take us out.
Stay interesting.